Hi, my name is Katie Solaski, and I'm an advocate for children with Fragile X syndrome. I'm here today to share with you some important information that will help in raising awareness for Fragile X. I'll share several interviews that will tell you more about the disorder itself, the communication needs of the children with this disorder, as well as some of the behavioral challenges that the children with Fragile X face. I have Miss Rita Jones here with me. She is the parent of 3 young children with Fragile X syndrome. Mrs. Jones, would you share with us some of the difficulties you've experienced in parenting 3 children with Fragile X?
Well, each of my children is affected by Fragile X syndrome differently. Joey, who has the most severe diagnosis, also has autism spectrum disorder. He tends to stray away from social situations and does not interact with his peers in his kindergarten class. He is able to say a few words here and there, but generally does not communicate verbally. He also displays many of the stereotypical behaviors of children with autism, such as obsession with routine, compulsive hand flapping, and a high sensitivity to light and loud noises.
Thank you for sharing. I'm here with Dr. John Doe, a geneticist that is currently studying Fragile X syndrome. Dr. Doe, would you mind sharing with us a little bit more about Fragile X?
Sure, Katie. Fragile X is a genetic condition caused by the mutation of a single gene on the X chromosome. This syndrome is the leading inherited cause of intellectual disability. What this means is that children with Fragile X will most likely experience some kind of cognitive deficit. These deficits may or may not be severe. Some individuals may present with a learning disability, maybe struggle with reading. Others may display disabilities that will prevent them from reading at all. It completely depends upon how this genetic mutation affects each.
So what are some of the common features of Fragile X syndrome?
Fragile X actually causes autism spectrum disorder in 46% of affected males and 16% of affected females. It is currently the only known cause of autism. Other issues associated with Fragile X syndrome are attention deficits, hyperactivity, anxiety, depression, and aggressiveness. Each of these symptoms are typically more common in one gender or the other. Again, intellectual disability and slowness to develop are among the most common. This is why early diagnosis of Fragile X syndrome is key. If a child is found to have Fragile X early on in their childhood, they will be able to receive necessary services sooner and will have a higher rate of success later in life.
Nancy, will you please tell us about some of the ways in which you work with these clients?
Sure, Katie. Each child with Fragile X syndrome must be evaluated individually and treated based on his or her specific needs. The symptoms of Fragile X manifest themselves in different ways in each child, especially when we are talking about gender differences. Some individuals with Fragile X may never be able to speak, while with others, you may never even notice any communication abnormality. The point is, it is necessary to find out where each affected child's strengths and weaknesses are and go from there.
So then, what are some of the typical speech and language difficulties that you see impacting these children's communication abilities?
Kids with Fragile X are typically the most severely impaired within the area of social communication. This means that they will often have issues with conversational skills and just interacting with others in general. In terms of conversational skills, children with Fragile X do not understand when it's appropriate to initiate a conversation or how to stay on one topic. They tend to be disorganized speakers and that they do not make much sense to others.
So how does this look in young children?
Young children with Fragile X tend to withdraw socially, thus creating a gap between them and their peers, which grows wider with age. This is an issue that is addressed in therapy from an early age because of its importance in the development of social skills. In addition, facial muscle tone tends to be low in children with Fragile X, so speech can be difficult to understand. Some children with Fragile X also have language delays. This can mean a smaller vocabulary that is age-appropriate or a lack of age-appropriate grammar skills.
Okay, thank you for being here with us. I hope you have found this video to be educational and that you now have a better idea of what Fragile X syndrome looks like. If you would like further information, please visit www.fragilex.org or www.cdc.gov. Thank you.